Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Eden Maybon from lightcycleastrology.com, and today we're taking a look at some of the astrology leading us into the weekend and into October 2022. This is August 30th, 2022, but what could we expect over the weekend? Let's go ahead and pull up the real-time clock and take a look. We've got a couple of big transits happening over the weekend. We've got now Venus has already entered by this point, the sign of Libra. We always like to see a planet in its own domicile or temple because it's said that it could enact its significations more naturally. That's good. We've also have Mercury in the sign of Virgo in one of its temples and in the place where it was said to be exalted, stationing to turn direct. So that's always nice to see a planet turn direct. We also have this station happening in opposition to the planet Neptune. So there is still a lot of Neptune energy in the air. Neptune begins by Sunday also to form a square to Mars. And also by Sunday, we have the first quarter moon coming through the sign of Capricorn. So that is the energies that is leading us right into the month and into the weekend here. Let's go ahead and break some of these down. So we've got Venus and the sun basically within that combustion or under the beams status. And what that means is that even though Venus is in her own temple, she is still taking heat from the sun because she is so close in degrees to the sun. So in ancient astrology, whenever you had a planet getting within that 15-degree range, the sun begins to act like a malefic, and it was said to maltreat that planet. That's simply because the sun is so bright it begins to burn up, and the light was seen by that planet to fade away. And this was a signification that the planet was losing life force or vitality because it was losing visible light. So that is one thing that normally would be not so great, but what is good is that Venus in one of her own temples has a parasol or an umbrella. So that is one good thing. I'll give you an example of this. Let's say the sun represents an authority figure of some kind, maybe like a boss or like a policeman that pulls you over in your car, and he is really upset. He's kind of grumpy and he comes up to you and he's about to write you a ticket. But because Venus is now in her own temple, she has the ability to be very charming and socially likable. So the police says, you know what? I really like you. I'm just going to let you go this time, just watch your speed or whatever. So this is an interesting combination because the sun being in its sign of fall or depression, is going to bring out the more shadowy qualities of the sun. So you're thinking about solar figures that maybe go through a bit of a dark period. So you could have like a boss that is more grumpy. You could have a father that gets sick. Maybe you get sick or something like this. But the sun in Libra is more of that shadow solary side. And it's going to maltreat Venus a little bit, but the good thing is that Venus has social acumen and grace at her disposal to basically narrowly escape maybe some of the retribution that the sun might bring about. So that's a good signification going into the weekend. Also, because Mercury here is stationing to turn direct, things could improve around money, communications, maybe something that was broken that you've been fixing, maybe a project that you've been reorganizing or working on, or some skill that you've been developing. Something could begin to turn around in any of those ways and sort of become a little bit more improved. So maybe you have a breakthrough with something that you've been learning how to do. Maybe you have a breakthrough with communications with somebody that's really important to you that maybe comes back in your life, or you get a sudden email or a message from somebody, or you figure out what's been going on with your car and it's been broken for a week or something. Anything like that, you have to plug it into your whole sign birth chart to kind of see what topic or house Mercury is going to relate to. But essentially, there's something improved around money markets, around finances, potentially communications, technology, anything that you're working on that you're inventing. Anything mercurial is going to improve and begin to have that forward movement, which is really awesome. So this does happen, as I was mentioning before, it does happen in this opposition to Neptune. So, Neptune is a little bit like that mirror. It reminds me of what is it, Snow White, where you have she always goes to the mirror and she says, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?" And that mirror is that magical, illusional quality. So money being associated with the planet Mercury in opposition to Neptune, there might be a purchase that you might have to be a little bit careful of. Maybe, just really double check if you need to buy something, if you're going to spend a lot of money, that sort of thing. Also, we have the square forming between Neptune and Mars. So that is an interesting square. Neptune and Mars together often denotes this quality of like Joan of Arc, or like a holy crusade, or uh, something evangelical or religious in some way or another. So there could be this sense in which there's something that feels very, very like you have to do it. It's a matter of spiritual conquest or salvation on some level, and that could be a little bit intense. And I'm wondering what that means, because we're also going through the first quarter lunation phase, where we see the moon moving into the sign of Capricorn by October the 2nd, which is Sunday. And first quarter moons are often moments of crisis, not necessarily like big, dramatic, huge ones, but small ones where we feel as though we need to differentiate ourselves potentially from a challenge in the environment. The moon being in the sign of its detriment, opposite to the sign of its temple in Cancer, that sort of means that the moon may feel a little bit alienated or isolated, or somehow has to do something for its own power or for its own well-being, or maybe work really hard and it doesn't have time to spend with family or what have you. But there might be something that you're trying to construct or build or establish, or some crisis that you have to kind of push through in the environment or circumstances at this time. And there's a lot of dynamics going where there's that whole Joan of Arc feeling, where maybe there's something about it that feels like you have to really go out there and do it, because it's a matter of spiritual conquest on some level, especially because Venus, another thing that's also happening is Venus is starting to move into that opposition with Jupiter. So there's a lot of aspects going on here, but that is some of the energy that is leading us into the month of October and into the weekend. So overall, I think we got some really good transits, and I'm really happy to see some of these planets improving. But let me know how it goes. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching. Take care, and I hope your weekend is well. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Have a good one.